If you're a resident and you're watching this,
advisory council
you
is
need
an
great
organization right
ideas.
now.
Social development plan is a plan that was developed years ago to help go along with the physical development of the neighborhood. Revitalization has always been envisioned as a two-track process, a physical development with new state-of-the-art facilities, new market buildings, a park, what do you call a huge park, an aquatic center, but also there was envisioned a social side.
It's always been very heavily funded in terms of the physical rebuild of the neighborhood, and there's also always been a recognition that there has to be a lot of energy and resources devoted to the social side of that social development plan that goes back to 2007, but it wasn't funded until recently, until about 2019. And that was through a lot of work of community members and organizations in the community, Councillor Wong Tam, all coming together to advocate effectively to get more significant funding directed towards the community, together with a sort of a refresh of the whole social development plan and a structure that could actually direct that funding that was coming in.
To make sure that the progress on the physical side matched the social aspect of the neighborhood. So a plan was developed.
And what that aims to do is to build social cohesion and social inclusion, opportunities to create belonging, a sense of belonging in the community. The structure that we have is got 4 pillars, the community building pillar, and then there's employment and economic development, and safety and communications. And there's working groups for each of those.
So these were 4 thematic areas that that we would focus on developing when it comes to the social aspect of revitalization.
Stakeholders table is sort of the overarching group that holds it all together. So all of the 4 pillars, all of the 4 working groups sort of report to the stakeholders table.
Stakeholders table is very important because it is the main decision-making body for Regent Park and the SDP. It usually meets up every season and is comprised of residents, organizations and agencies, as well as the co-chairs of all the working groups. And it also includes City of Toronto in these discussions as well.
It is a place where sometimes information is shared about what's happening through the social development plan, but it can also be a place for when there's large decisions or significant decisions that have to be made, a place for those decisions to be made. A lot of thought has been given to that, and what we've chosen is to work for consensus as much as possible. We try to sort of hear each other, listen to each other, and figure out ways forward that are acceptable to everyone. That's like the first choice. And then also, if perhaps because of time constraints, if we can't get to that place, we might have to vote. So we have vote as kind of like a backup, and then that would be a majority vote.
The planning committee is a key component to making sure all the different working groups as well as the stakeholders table are connected. It's that middle bridge building piece that is the planning committee. It consists of members who are part of the working groups, co-chairs, residents, and organizations, all collaborating together and planning behind the scenes, providing updates, and any of the things that need to be brought up to the stakeholders table. This is what planning committee does.
The Evaluation and Benchmark Committee, their main intentional goal towards SDP is to make sure the goal is achieved. STP's goal is achieved in terms of social cohesion and social inclusion. And through that, we are currently evaluating the work that the SDP is doing with Regent Park in terms of evaluating all the 4 working groups work towards the community.
What they approved was $2.5 million over 5 years. And then there was another, I believe, $250,000, sorry, the donation from a private individual, Chris Berlinger. There has been some other money that has been made available through United Way as well for those are other projects, but that went through that sort of social development plan structure.
In terms of resources as well, we made sure that the community benefits for phases 4 and 5 also included funding for the social development plan. This was also an advocacy led by the Regent Park Neighborhood Association Community Benefits Coalition. When a new developer came into the neighborhood, it was really important to make sure that they were investing in the social development. And that was made a category of funding for phases 4 and 5 community benefits. So with the 2.5 million and 26.75 million secured for community benefit, the social development plan has resources in the next 10 to 15 years.
It's critical because the whole foundation of the SDP is to socially support the community, and it's to build a social infrastructure that transcends people's backgrounds or situations, and transcends whether they're living in a condo or living in TCHC or working for an agency.
If you want to make change at a neighborhood level, this would be the place to do it. If you have an interesting project that could increase cohesion, that could increase inclusion, we have the resources. Because we are a revitalization neighborhood, there's $1 billion being injected into this neighborhood in terms of its development. So there's lots of resources to develop its social side. So if you're a grassroots leader, if you're a resident who have ideas, who knows the problem and has ideas to solve it, you have peers with you, other residents with you who will co-develop the idea with you, and we have the resources to help implement that. So I think it's very encouraging to have more residents involved, because this is their lives that we're talking about, and they're being impacted the most.
You don't have to be great at this stuff. You don't have to have a lot of experience. You don't have to know about it. We are creating trainings too for people to learn some of the skills that are required to do this work. So so don't let that be a barrier, that you don't feel like you know it. If you're interested in it, there's lots of people who do this, who are doing this work right now in the social development plan, who are building up their knowledge through their experience. I mean, they bring their own lived experience, their own expertise from what they've lived to it. And then they can also add to that sort of lived knowledge. They can add skills that that people can develop through doing the work, and through workshops that we are offering.
We have 3 co-chairs, and those are 1 organizational co-chair, 1 Toronto Community Housing, and 1 Market. So you can connect with any of our co-chairs. You can literally connect with any resident who's involved in the work group. We need to make impact, in Regent Park. And if you're able to join us and volunteer, please do join us, in this neighborhood, in the social development plan. And you'd be surprised. In many other spaces, ideas are just ideas. Here, you get to see an idea at first hand, and then you get to see it implemented. So please join us, and let's create a more inclusive and cohesive community.
Please do not forget to like, comment, and share to our channel. Follow us on all our social media platforms. And for more information, please check out our website.